Hey guys, it is Julie here with JT Wealth. In today's video, we are talking about financial literacy, and I want to see if you can pass a test that 84% of millennials couldn't. So let's get into it. All right, guys, welcome back and thank you so much for being here. Like I said, today we are discussing financial literacy, as a new report found that only 16% of millennials qualify as financially literate. Now, for this report, Americans were asked three very fundamental questions to test financial literacy, and among millennials, only 16% were able to answer all three of these questions correctly. So in today's video, we're going to go through these three questions that they were asked. You get a chance to see if you can answer them. Of course, we'll go through the answers and just discuss why financial literacy is so important. And just before we get into all of that, this is just your friendly reminder that if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you give us a big thumbs up and leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, if you enjoy free stocks, make sure to check out some of the links in our description. Right now, Webull is giving away 4 free stocks just for signing up and funding a new investment account, so make sure to check them out. All right, now let's get right into those 3 questions that everyone was asked. Now, these are based on numeracy, inflation, and diversification. So we're going to go through each question, give you a moment to think about your answer, and then we'll follow back up on the answers after that. All right, so question number 1. Suppose you had $100 in a savings account and the interest rate was 2% per year. After 5 years, how much do you think you would have in the account if you left the money to grow? A is more than $102, B, exactly $102, C, less than $102, D, do not know, and E, refuse to answer. And obviously, guys, this is YouTube, so you don't have to answer, but come on, don't pick E. Question number 2. Imagine that the interest rate on your savings account was 1% per year and inflation was 2% per year. After 1 year, how much would you be able to buy with the money in this account? A, more than today, B, exactly the same, C, less than today, D, do not know, E, refuse to answer. And finally, question 3. Please tell me whether this statement is true or false. Buying a single company's stock usually provides a safer return than a stock mutual fund. Answers A for true, B for false, C do not know, and D refuse to answer. All right, so once you've thought about your answers, maybe jot them down on a piece of paper near you. We are going to circle back to these in a little bit. Now, what's really interesting is that even millennials who self-identified as financially literate struggled with these questions. Only 19% were able to get all 3 correct. As the report notes, the millennials, who were defined as individuals between 18 and 37 years old, demonstrate lower basic financial literacy levels while at the same time being more likely to overestimate their own financial knowledge. Now, Americans across all age ranges struggled with the questions, but the knowledge holes were most glaring among young people. For example, 49% of respondents aged 70 to 74 correctly answered the big 3 questions. No age group scored above 50%. Dr. Andrea Hassler, who's one of the authors of the report, appeared on Yahoo Finance's On the Move to discuss the findings and said that the problem here is that financial literacy is highly linked to money management behavior and saving and planning for retirement. So we know that having enough money for retirement is a huge stressor in many people's lives, and financial literacy is key to people knowing to start saving when they're young, as you cannot get that time back. And it is crazy to think that on a 3-question test, no age group scored over 50%. Guys, that means that most people could not get at least 2 questions right on that test. Now, I am a huge advocate for financial literacy. These are really important life skills. Not only should it be focused on more at school, but at home as well, and starting at an early age for the most basic concepts as far as allowance and savings. And financial literacy is arguably more important for the young. Students have very difficult questions very early in their lifetime. For example, right after high school, how to fund their college. Now, it is crazy to think that only 16% of millennials could answer those 3 questions correctly, especially when you consider the student loan crisis. Statistics show Americans have $1.6 trillion in outstanding debt. working out to $29,200 per borrower. According to the TIA report, 43% of millennials have a loan, and of those that are currently working off their loan, 47% of respondents reported that they did not look into what their monthly loan repayment bill would be at the time they decided to accept a loan. Obviously, post-secondary school is not cheap, and I understand that in most situations, a loan is required for that further education. I think the important thing is that people need to understand the commitment that they're making and how it is going to affect their finances for the years to come. All right, now let's go through the answers to those 3 questions and see how you stack up against the rest of those millennials. Looking back at question 1, which had to do with the $100 in a savings account at 2% per year after 5 years. The answer here is A. You would have more than $102. You would literally have more than $102 after the first year. And forward from that is compound interest, guys. Question number 2. Imagining your interest rate on your savings account at 1% and inflation was at 2%. So after 1 year, how much would you be able to buy? The answer is C. Less than today. I think this question really comes down to understanding what inflation is, and that it's basically eating away at the buying power of your money. So if you aren't earning more than inflation, you're not earning enough. And number 3, true or false that buying a single company stock usually provides a safer return than a stock mutual fund? And the answer is B, false. And again, this just comes down to understanding what a mutual fund is and that it offers diversification, and through diversification, you reduce your overall risk. So how did you guys do with your answers? I'm hoping since you're already here watching finance videos on YouTube that you fared pretty well on these. Now, if you didn't, I'm not mad, I'm just a little disappointed. Now, I bring up this report and these questions certainly not to poke fun at millennials, but just to really highlight the disparity between the importance of financial education and the lack of education being provided to people in this subject. So guys, we need to start talking about this more. I know it's taboo to discuss finances, but this needs to become a more common conversation. Around the dinner table, with your friends, especially if you have children in your home, make sure that you are teaching these life skills. Now you guys know that I always love hearing from you, so make sure to leave your thoughts in the comments down below. How did you do on these 3 questions, and where does financial literacy play a role in your life? Now, I do want to start doing some more videos on more basic financial literacy, so I'd love to hear from you guys on what kind of topics that you'd like to hear about. Now, I understand that you don't know what you don't know, but if there are some things that you're curious about and would like some more information, please leave your thoughts down below. If you made it all the way to the end of today's video, make sure you give us a big thumbs up and that you're subscribed to the channel as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and cheers.